Squared roots. A squared root symbol is shown as the following. So we can have this symbol with a number inside or variables. Then when we see this, we could think to ourselves, what number squared equals the number. Then finding the square root is the opposite of finding the square of a number. So let's go over an example to see how what this means. So example 1, find the square root of 600. So when we look at 600, we can think to ourselves, what number squared will equal 600? And so there's also, we can get up our calculators and find this. So we notice on the right hand side, right here where it's highlighted, is the square root symbol. So what we do is we put in the number and we take the square root of it. And we see that we get 24.49. So we'll just round to the nearest hundredth. So our answer for the square root of 600 is 24.49. And this is the square root of 600. Now let's look at another example. Example 2, find the square root of 256. So what number squared equals 256? So what we do is we're going to take the square root of 256 to find our answer. We get our calculators out. We first put in our number, take the square root symbol, and then we see that it is equal to 16. So what this means is if we do 16 times 16, it equals 256. So 16 times 16, or shown as 16 squared, is equal to 256. So when we take the square root, we're looking to see what number squared equals that. So our answer is 16. Now let's do another example. Example 3. Find the square root of 16a squared b to the 4th. So for this problem, we see that we have a number and variables. And so we're going to need to find the square root of this whole term. And so how we can do that is we can actually just take all of this and get it to its prime factorization. So 16 can be broken down into, so the prime factor is 2 and then 8. 8 can be broken out into 2 and 4, and then 4 can be 2 and 2. So we're going to go ahead and write this, our square root symbol. So we have 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. Then we have 2 A's and 4 B's. So when we look at solving for a square root, what we're doing is we're saying what number squared is equal to that. So if we have two numbers, like 2 and 2 right here, the square root of 2 times 2, which is 4, is just 2. So anytime you have two factors of any number or variable, we can take it out of the square root symbol. So this would then become 2. Then we have 2 2's again, so we can multiply that. And then we have 2A's, so that just becomes 1A. This becomes just B, and because we have 2 B's here, this is just one other B. So when we then multiply this all together, we get 2 times 2, so that's 4. Then we have A, and then we have 2 B's, so B squared. So this would be our solution, because if we were to square this, 4ab to the second, we would get 16. So if we were to square 4ab squared, we would get our original term that we were finding the square root of, which is 16a squared b to the fourth. Now let's look at one final example. So example 4, find the square root of 9x to the 6 y squared. So for this problem, we're going to find the square root of 9x to the 6 y squared. So let's break this down further. So 9 can be rewritten as 3 times 3, because those are the prime numbers that make up 9. Then we have 6 x's. 4, 5, 6. Then we have 2 y's. Now that we've broken it down, it's a lot simpler to solve. So when we have 2 copies of anything, that means we can just take the one copy, as that will be the square root of that. So the square root of 9, or 3 and 3, is just 3. Then the square root of 2x's is just 1x. Then the square root of another 2x's is just another x. And then the square root of another 2x's is just another x. And then the square root of 2y's is just y. So when we go ahead and rewrite this, it's 3. Then we have 3 x's, so x to the third, y. And that would be the square root of 9x to the 6 y squared.